Welcome to the Everything is Tine YouTube channel. My name is Ruby,
My name is Jeremy.
and today we have a story time for y'all. We thought it would be fun to tell probably one of the craziest stories we have really ever had to tell to
It's hard to
people.
tell in terms of levels where our stories end up because we have a lot of them that are pretty
Out
out of
there?
the ordinary or the norm. Yeah, out there. Yeah,
Hmm.
so it's hard to know in terms of levels where this one lands. Um,
Right, exactly.
right. So, so I guess we'll just jump into it. So for the audience, picture it, right? It's January 2019. Us two, we've been friends for a very long time, since like sixth grade. Um, but we didn't really have post high school a very like consistent schedule of meeting each other outside of class, right?
Yeah.
So, and we had a rocky history of like
It
starting
was
a starting a schedule and then just not continuing, or
it,
you know
it
what I
was like
mean.
I'd see him maybe like once every like academic year, but also we like lived in the same city the whole time. So it was a little bit of a struggle. Um, but when
It
we did get
was,
together,
yeah.
it was also a little bit awkward because even though we had known each other for a really long time, I feel like for some reason we were just having the most awkward get-togethers ever. So we had decided
Hmm.
like come 2019, this was going to be like our year and we were just going to have like amazing get-togethers.
Right. But honestly, it was going pretty well. We were having a good time. It wasn't awkward. Um,
No, it was
and
pretty
then we decided
great.
to go get some food.
We're in your car and we're driving to get food.
Hmm.
For
Right.
some reason though, we didn't dine in. We were like, let's just like eat in the car for some reason.
Right. So we decided to drive through In and Out.
Mhm.
Um, so I mean that's fine. They have a weird drive-through where it's kind of like not linear. You're kind of going around in a
It's
strange
very, very
pattern.
strange. Yeah.
Yeah. But regardless, like we get our food, it's fine, and we park to eat the food and just talk. You know. Um, it was going well
It was going so well.
until Ruby decided that, you know what, we need a reenactment of Moses parting the Red Sea, but on the car seat.
In
So
my
how
in
about
my
you jump into
defense,
that?
in my defense, right? So we're sitting here with
Hmm.
like our I don't know if you've ever been to In and Out, but basically they give you like a cardboard box with like the burgers and then fries.
Right.
And then you have your
Hmm.
drink. So like we're sitting here and I have my Dr. Pepper and I'm holding the Dr. Pepper from like the lid part. So like not like this. It's like from the top. And
Hmm.
I'm sitting here and I'm facing him and like we're talking and I this happened in slow motion, right? I'm looking at the cup and the cup just like detaches itself from the lid and all that's left is like me holding the lid with the straw, cup all over me and the seat. Like Dr. Pepper everywhere,
Hmm.
ice everywhere and I'm like still looking at this like lid and then I just look at Jeremy and like we make eye contact for like a good minute. And all he does is he goes, I'm gonna go get napkins. And then he walks out and goes and gets napkins.
It wasn't like she spilled Dr. Pepper and some of it got on the seat. It was like multiple inches of Dr. Pepper that had like gathered on the seat.
It was the
So,
whole drink, and it was just like
mhm.
there was no Dr. Pepper left in that cup. Like it was either all over me or all over the seat. And so at this point,
Mhm.
like I'm soaked, the seat's soaked, and Jeremy is just like trying to clean this up with napkins, right? From like in and out.
Right. Well, I think that's just how my mind works. I consider yourself lucky. There are other people you could have been and had that happen to, that I think would have had a more emotional response than me.
Oh, 100%.
Um,
I mean, I probably like would have been kicked out of the car at that point, like just ex-friends with people. Jeremy was, I wouldn't necessarily say forgiving, but he was just like, it is what it is. And then we were like, let's try to like clean it up, right? Um,
mm,
and luckily, we were very, very close to a Target. So we're like, let's just go to
right.
Target. Let's try to get like a stain remover. Um, and I thought
Hmm.
we were going in for a stain remover. And then, you know, surprise, surprise, Jeremy's like comes comes out of like the soda aisle with just like a club soda. And I was like, this
Well,
is the plan? Okay.
well, it was the plan because with like clothing and things, what you use to get out of it sometimes is if you use soda water, carbonated water, you can get stains out. So I said, okay, well, before getting some sort of like heavy duty stain removal thing, I might as well try doing this. In hindsight, it's not really, it was a waste of time.
Then, just a few minutes later, there we are in the parking lot using that to try to get the stain out of the seat.
And of course, it got some of it out, but it was pretty clear by looking at it, it's like, okay, this isn't really working like we need it to. So then what happens is we Google stain removers and we find that there's something called turtle wax, which I had never heard of. I don't think you had ever heard
I
of
had
either.
never heard of that.
People claim that it works.
Right.
So it's like,
yeah.
okay, let's go try to find it. And they had it at a different Target, so we drove to a different Target. Maybe this requires a footnote also. We're convinced that the universe sends the most inept employees our way to try to set up obstacles for us at every possible scenario.
Well, just in general, we think the universe likes to mess with us by putting us in certain scenarios. But specifically with the types of employees we get while we're together. A great example of that, if you haven't seen it yet, is our video where we explain the meaning of everything is Tine, which is the title of our channel. So if you haven't seen that, go watch that video. That's like an origin story for all of this crazy stuff.
It is. It is. Yeah. So I don't remember the guy's name, but what happened when we asked an employee to show us where the turtle wax was? Do you remember?
I mean, we walk into this Target and we ask someone, okay, so we're looking for turtle wax. And he's like, oh, yeah, sure. It's in this aisle. So we're following him through Target and we like turn into an aisle that's vacuums. And then like he just continues to walk down the aisle and then just like leaves. And so then it's just us in this aisle. And I'm looking at Jeremy like, is this the aisle? Because like neither one of us has ever seen turtle wax or used turtle wax. But we were pretty sure it wasn't with the vacuums.
It wasn't even like an aisle full of supplementary things you use in tandem with a vacuum. It was like the actual gigantic boxes that were vacuums. And we're like,
the displays. We were like,
literally the displays, but eventually we find it.
We find it, and to be honest, this is maybe a little bit our fault, right? In the sense that like we bought this turtle wax, and while the other cleaners around it, stain removers around it, seem to come with like a giant sponge that you can use to like clean the stain out, this turtle wax came with like a brush this big, and like the rest was it where you could like hold it with your hand and go like that. So it was really hard to actually like put into use once we got back to the car to try to get the stain out.
To our credit, we actually did buy a supplemental brush and a bunch of towels. So basically what would happen is one of us would work on cleaning the seat at a time, and then the other person would like hang wet towels that needed to dry, and we would do that sort of in a cyclical motion.
Rotate. Set the scene for you, right? So at this point, we're Target. It's like, what, 11 at night or so? Here we are. We park our car kind of far out so we can like open the doors. It's freezing. You have like the heater going and we have like the doors open to kind of like aerate the place because like this turtle wax had a very, very strong smell. And it's just like continuously us just like scrubbing and then wiping it off and then waiting and seeing if it got any better and then just like doing that for who knows how long, quite honestly. I don't really know how long we were there. It felt like a really long time.
Hours.
It was hours. It did get stranger, though, as the night went on.
It did get stranger. So the first sign that it wasn't a normal night is that there was a police officer in the parking lot where we were doing this. And maybe this is just like me not as a police officer prescribing my own way of thinking onto someone in uniform, right? If I saw two teenagers in a parking lot acting weird at like midnight on a weekday, I would at least be like concerned and would maybe go and ask if everything was okay.
He didn't come up and say anything to us. And at one point, we were the only car in that parking lot. Like there was no one else there. It was just us with like the doors open, like profusely scrubbing this like seat of the car and getting in and out because the fumes were like
Right.
very, very strong.
And it's hard to describe what turtle wax smells like other than just chemically. You know what
Right.
I
We
mean?
can, however, describe the side effects of turtle wax because we were having many. I think the
It's
first time
true.
I
I say
realized that we were having side effects was I'm sitting here on the floor of the passenger side, like scrubbing, and Jeremy's like in the
mm-hmm,
passenger seat and in the driver's seat, and he gets out. And just imagine this, right? You're looking at someone from like the passenger seat perspective. So Jeremy's standing there, and in the back, I can see this tree that is just blowing in the wind. It is just so windy outside. And Jeremy is
mm-hmm.
like turning, looking straight ahead, and he looks at me and he goes, Ruby, it's not windy anymore. There's no wind. As this tree in the background is
Yeah.
just blowing profusely. And that's when I was like, you know, what are these fumes doing? It has to be doing something because
Mm-hmm.
our senses were off.
Yeah. I remember by the end we were losing our sense of temperature also. Like
Mm-hmm.
what was hot, what was cold. Like skin was being rubbed off of our hands because of being in contact with the turtle wax, which again
Right.
probably works in tandem with the whole losing your sense of temperature. But yeah, I genuinely couldn't feel the wind
You couldn't feel the
at
wind, and then
all.
I couldn't feel warmth anymore because at one point we like
Mm-hmm.
got in the car and closed the doors and turned the heater on high, and we were both putting our hands in front of like the heater and could not feel the heat, like at all. It just
Yeah,
made our hands feel weird, and both of
it
us were
did.
like, "This is weird," you know?
It was just an odd night in general.
Right. And
And
that went on till 1 in the morning, actually. We were there
yeah,
1 a.m. in a Target parking lot, just, you know, getting side effects from turtle wax. It was definitely not the outing we
pretty
had
much.
expected going into this situation, you know?
No, and the real kicker to all this, right, is that you spend all this time trying to get the stain out of the seat, right? Turns out what happened upon further review the next day when I was looking at it was like, oh, we had gotten the Dr. Pepper stain mostly out of the seat, but the turtle wax itself had stained the seat. So it's like, okay, cool. If anything, if that is an example of the universe just like getting its thumb and going on us, I mean, you know, you can't really, I
Yeah, I
can't really think of
think
anything else that would be. Um,
that was a very weird like situation we were in, and I just remember afterwards also talking about it with
it
you how
was.
like the universe is messing with us because it was just so bizarre. Like I don't know, and you guys comment down below if you've ever had like a weird experience like this or something similar. I would love to know. Maybe it wouldn't make us feel so alone with this like this bizarre experiences that happen to us every time we're together.
Yeah, what's the weirdest thing that y'all have done in a Target parking lot?
Very specific.
Very specific question, looking for specific answers. No, but and to be clear, when we say that it feels like the universe is messing with us, this was only like we were saying that in conversation after in a sort of an amusing, flippant way.
We were joking about it in a
Um,
very like, oh yeah, this would be funny. It'd be so funny to think like the universe would mess with us. We didn't think it was like actually a thing.
mhm. Yeah, but then there were subsequent stories, which we can tell if y'all are interested, where it went from being flippant remarks to like genuine, detailed discussion trying to figure out if the universe is out to get us. Um,
Right. Yeah, it
and
became
we've
less of
determined
like
that it is.
yeah, we have determined that is there was a even specific story tied to like us determining like yes, we are just being messed with profusely by the universe. So if you would
Hmm.
like to hear that, comment down below and let us know because we would love to
Yeah.
tell that story.
Yeah, we have lots of stories just like in general. So if you want more story time videos, let us know. We're
Yeah.
happy to oblige.
Yes, hope you
I don't
guys
know.
enjoyed this video.
Yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. Subscribe, like, comment, follow us on our socials. Everything is Tine. Um, podcast on all podcast platforms. I don't know, that's basically all the goods that I can sell, right?
Hope you guys enjoyed this video and we'll make more.
All right. Bye bye.